Sit down, boys. One of our students here says you've been treating them unfairly.
Treating who unfairly? We didn't do anything. We're just minding our own business and she keeps saying she's Eric Cartman.
Okay, and what's wrong with that?
South Park's new special, Enter the Panderverse, just released, and while some people feared it would just be a bunch of stale jokes about being woke, this special aims to make a myriad of points criticizing certain aspects of diversity and representation, while also ripping on those who criticize things for being too woke. Like, how are you gonna sit there with a straight face and tell me Blue's Clues is woke? What the hell is going on? You already know this special is gonna be posted on anti-woke accounts like Wokeism Eviscerated, regardless of the content of the special and what its actual intent is. So today I sit down and seek to answer the question, what is the point behind South Park's Panderverse special? Because it's a little more complex than you might think. So the main aspect of this special is seeing South Park has a multiverse where the boys' counterparts are, quote, diverse women. I think it's especially funny to see Cartman as a black woman given all the prejudiced things Cartman has said, and maybe an equally funny point, the new diverse woman Cartman acts the exact same as the original Cartman.
Well, you know what I think about that, Cal? Hold on. That's what I think about that, Cal.
She insults everyone, farts on Kyle, manipulates everyone into buying her a gaming PC for her to play Baldur's Gate 3 on, and I think this creates an interesting point by suggesting that this character acts the same regardless of their race and gender, but we'll get further into this discussion point later. One thing I really like about this special is that these two universes actually interact with each other. I thought this special was just gonna be the Panderverse exclusively, and everyone would just watch a funny episode of South Park with the woman instead of the boys, and then froth at the mouth for more episodes with them, and fan art and merch would be created and everyone would just go crazy. But actually having diverse woman Cartman trying to convince the boys she's actually Cartman for half the special is just hilarious. Like, the contrast of how big she is compared to the boys' proportions alone makes this really funny. The episode reminds me a bit of the older episode where they all got weapons and imagined they were anime characters, but this special actually combines the characters into the same setting at the same time, which I really like. Seeing Cartman as the only straight white male of the Panderverse is interesting, but I think it goes to show you can make whatever point you want while watching an episode of South Park. We see Cartman exhausted and nearly dying in class, while the girls say they don't know who he is, and white heterosexual males think they're welcome anywhere, and the patriarchy, and it's really funny to see Cartman just kinda helplessly suffering here. He doesn't fight back or invalidate them, but I think this scene could have some people say, oh my gosh, this is so true, this is how schools are today, which it's not, but like, the episode focuses more on making a funny scenario, so whatever biases you may have on either side of the political compass, you can probably have a laugh at this scene, which I think is pretty ingenious. We see Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilms, also have a Cartman version of herself make her way into the South Park universe, constantly requesting for everything to have a chick in it and make her, quote, lame and gay, even going as far as requesting her dinner have a chick in it and to be made lame and gay. I guess I'd say I'm not familiar enough with Kathleen's influence to agree that she is the reason why Disney sucks now, but I really wanted to show this shot because it reminds me of Aaron Hansen. The regular Cartman who's trapped in the Panderverse is constantly running away in fear Kathleen Kennedy will make him a gay chick, but when he learns the Panderverse's Kathleen Kennedy was also displaced from their universe, they work together to get back to their original universe. Cartman and Kathleen have a heartfelt conversation in which they reveal the increase in diversity and representation in recent media caused backlash and hate mail, and this caused some kind of vicious cycle where this increased the amount of diversity and representation as a response to the hate mail, prioritizing this over the story and writing, and maybe this is why Disney's failing. But this point feels more like a story beat than the real deal of our current film landscape. I mean, saying diversity and representation are a product of the backlash regarding diversity feels like a bit of a weird point. Like, corporations wouldn't push diversity to end racism. Corporations and studios would promote diversity because they believe this will increase profits for said corporations. Cartman reveals he was sending like 10,000 hate mails a day to Kathleen Kennedy about the new Indiana Jones, and this is one of the only times I can remember Cartman ever making a genuine apology in like all of South Park. But more importantly, I feel like this is where the episode makes its strongest points, because it says, hey, diversity and representation aren't a substitute for good story and writing, that's lazy. But also, Also, just dunking on stuff for being woke instead of criticizing the actual content is lazy. So overall, don't be lazy. I like that the episode acknowledges good examples of diverse representation too, like how it elevates a character such as Miles Morales.
Probably have a problem with Black Spider-Man too.
No, Miles Morales is sweet. That's a whole constructed thing with its own character and narrative, and this is just taking Cartman, same old Cartman, and putting a black woman in it.
And I really like how the episode doesn't stop here though and settle into the enlightened centrist route, because they also have characters represent the neutral opinion of what does it matter if a character is diverse or not. Throughout the episode, Kyle isn't convinced that Cartman and his Panderverse counterpart actually swapped places, but rather this is a ploy to play Baldur's Gate or something. Most people Kyle questions though about Cartman's new identity just say they don't see a problem with it though. Like Kyle will say Cartman is a black woman now, and PC Principal or Kyle's mom will just say, I don't see a problem with it. It's made a little bit funnier by the fact that both Cartmans act the same, regardless of what universe they're in. Like, it really feels like they were written interchangeably, so that you wouldn't bat an eye if either one of them acted or said the things they do. I would have liked if it went further into this scenario of a role being diverse but not affecting the character. Like, a notable recent example could be the live-action Little Mermaid and the controversy surrounding Halle Bailey being cast for the role. I didn't see the movie, but truly, no casting would have made me watch the movie unless the Little Mermaid was played by like Jason Momoa or something. Now that's a movie idea. A lot of people made comments or tweets referencing the 2023 animated show Velma, in which Velma isn't white, but rather an Indian woman played by Mindy Kaling. There definitely was skepticism and hate regarding this race change, like, if it's not broke, why fix it? But the conversation was quickly thrown out the window when everyone realized the writing of the show was pretty bad. The show actually has a lot of great qualities in terms of its art, but I think this causes it to fall under the category of this show has bad writing and story, and maybe relies on diversity and representation. I do feel like it's a bit of a confirmation bias to say any production relied on something like diversity instead of story though. Like, unless I'm on the production of a show like Velma, I think it's safer to chalk it up as bad story that fails, despite having diversity, rather than it was because of diversity. We should quickly talk about the B-plot, where all the adults in South Park have become extremely reliant on the services of handymen. Due to the increased demand, the handymen become millionaires and create class inequality and job loss. The handymen go on to imitate Elon Musk, and I would suppose Big Zuck, suggesting an MMA fight, buying social media networks, and space stations. But it also kind of feels like the episode is saying, hey, see these crazy millionaires? See the unemployment rates? This is because phone bad and phone makes you too lazy to fix stuff yourself. And at first, this felt like a bit of a disingenuous point, but when I replace handymen with, I don't know, Jeff Bezos, and replace their services with like buying stuff on Amazon, I think a point can be made about criticizing corporations and moguls while also being too lazy to not continue supporting them. I think the B-plot kind of muddles its own point though with the incorporation of other aspects such as AI technology and college debt. Like, so many different topics get added to this, it just feels like it could have been its own episode and took a little more time to clarify what the hell it's trying to say. There are some really funny moments though, like all the adults buy a catapult to destroy the college, but they have to have the handyman assemble the catapult, and then a handyman goes to fix the window of the school, causing the rich to get richer at the expense of the working class. Or all the white-collar workers sitting outside the Home Depot while the handymen drive by and make fun of them, as a clear reversal of what happens a lot in our current society. So here's my final answer to the question of what is the South Park Panderverse special trying to say? A. Diversity is good, but it's not a substitute for good story and character. B. When a story is written well, it can elevate diverse characters, such as Miles Morales. C. Being overly critical of diversity and woke culture can be just as lazy/cringe as these productions. And to try to throw in a legitimate summary of the B-plot, D. Don't let technology make you too lazy to learn applicable skills, especially in a world where AI technology is impacting job security. I'm sure there's some addendum that can be made regarding the tech moguls, class disparity, and college debt, but the B plot kinda goes down a rabbit hole. I think the whole episode and every plotline can be summarized as don't be lazy when you really think about it. So overall, I really enjoyed the special. I wish we had a little more hijinks of the two Cartmans and their new universes, because they were really the highlights of the special to me, and represented a lot of classic South Park vibes. I know some people feel it's a bit ironic to enjoy these new diverse characters because part of what the special is suggesting is that it's merely a palette swap and the characters aren't changing, so liking them is kinda shallow. But seeing the two Cartmans truly show they're the same character is really funny, cause Diverse Cartman is doing the whole ploy to play Baldur's Gate does indeed show that even as a black woman instead of a white boy, Cartman will still be the manipulative ass that we all hate and love. Maybe we aren't all so different after all. Thanks for watching. I'd appreciate it if you let me know your thoughts on the episode in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe so I don't have to become a grifter talking about how Arthur's woke, cause I don't want to do that. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Bye.